Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening.
Good evening.
Made it back from San Francisco.
Madam Chairman, before we start, I'd like to make an announcement, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm here as a interim appointee to the Personnel Committee. If you all recall, back in November of this year, we appointed, the board appointed Jim Davis to be the 5th director of the Board of Directors. A month later, when we met in December, he had resigned. Oh, by the way, at the time we appointed him, he swore in and took the oath of office. And also we elected new chairman, Cedric White, and vice chairman, Dave Zappolano. At that time, Cedric White appointed Jim Davis to be a member of the Personnel Committee. Well, he is gone. He decided that he is not going to continue on. And so Cedric White asked me if I would sit in on an interim basis to be a member of the Personnel Committee, probably just for this one meeting, because later on the board will appoint a new director. We'll have 5 directors, and then the chair will appoint new committee members. Thank you. Thank you.
Open time. Anybody wishing to address the board of directors not listed on the agenda should notify the secretary. Were you notified? Anybody who wish to speak at this time?
Nope.
The secretary.
I guess that's me, I'm sorry. No.
That's okay.
That's a new one.
Okay, nobody asked to speak, so we'll go into new business. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. A, vacant general manager position discussion. Bill did an awesome job, and I really liked what he wrote about. And he said he put it on the internet, or put it on the internet. Did everybody by any chance get to read it? Yeah. Did you get to read it?
I read everything.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Do you wish to make any comments about it?
Yeah, I think that under the circumstances that we are in right now regarding the fiscal condition of the board, or the district, that Bill's suggestion that he remain as an interim for a 6-month period of time, and then extend the period when we are accepting applications for 6 months, and not address the appointment of a new general manager until we are in a better fiscal position, and at least 4 to 6 months down the line. And I'm in agreement with that. I think that's a good idea.
And I would recommend that.
If we could recommend that to the board in general. I would add one thing to it, though. I think if we're going to do that, that we should send letters to these 6 people who have sent in applications, and indicate that we are extending that application time for 6 months because of perhaps because of fiscal situations that we have, issues that we have here, and then let them know that if they want to withdraw an application because they're looking for work elsewhere, that would be fine with us. Just let us know, and then during that 6 month period of time, we can also accept any other applications that would come in, with the likelihood that we would be appointing a new general manager no earlier than 6 months from now. That would be the only recommendation that I would have.
Any comments, Bill?
only thing that's really spurring this and my decision to, make a recommendation to the board to stay in the interim GM position, which is not exactly what I wanna do, but it's probably what's best for the district, is the money that we would throw at funding the GM position would go to staffing a bookkeeper. And that is the needs of the district right now. That's about the only thing I was gonna add.
Okay, totally agree. Can I open it up to the community? Anybody got any comments? I'm assuming that most of you read this. No? Okay. You
I
read-
appreciate your willingness,
Yeah.
Bill, and I've had the impression that this is where we needed to go, pretty much right out of the box.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you speak, would you tell me your name? We have to put.
Chuck Jones.
Okay. So, can we move to B?
I think, pardon?
I said I think we can go to B,
Sure.
okay?
I have some questions about that.
Yeah. B is topic of discussion regarding staffing issues, job description, and job duties. This is in relationship to administration assistant and bookkeeping accounting. All right, you have said questions.
Yes, I do. I'm looking over the old descriptions of accountant customer service for one, and administrative assistant for the other. You've condensed it down into two, which would be the bookkeeper
Correct.
and then an administrative assistant. With regard to the bookkeeper and the administrative assistant, how did you arrive at this salary range?
The accountant, we had a position, with a salary range for accountant, and we had a salary range for the, admin assistant, and, we took it from both of those.
Okay, so
So
nothing's
we
changed.
compared it to other districts as well, but
Okay, so this salary range then equates to what other districts are doing as well?
well, it's similar,
Similar?
but we're, we're special.
Yeah.
So,
Let me start with the administrative assistant. Down under other duties, and the duties outlined here are pretty good, laid out pretty well as far as I can see. But under other duties, it says performs the accounts receivable and payroll functions. I thought that was basically what the bookkeeper did.
Currently Kristen is doing receivables, taking customer payments, and she's doing payroll.
But she's not the bookkeeper though.
Right, so there is some overlap in the duties. Yeah, there's some overlap.
Emily has an answer for that.
There's some checks and balances issues there too. What?
Well, that's just what I was gonna bring up, there needs to be some.
Excuse me, can I finish my question?
She can answer. Emily's a volunteer. Emily's technically an employee, so Emily can answer.
Okay,
Okay, can I continue? Under the administrative assistant, under knowledge of, and one thing that is not indicated here is the need for someone to be familiar with, what do you call that, I guess? The Word format, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher and Outlook, which is of Office. And I noticed that that's a requirement for, or not a requirement, but a knowledge of, which would be good to have for the bookkeeper, which is good. Good. But shouldn't that be a part of what the administrative assistant would be doing as well?
Yeah, I guess it could get added. It could get added to both, that they should be knowledgeable with basic computer functions.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
certainly wouldn't use this necessarily for a job advertisement, but, this is just a job description. Yeah, we could add Microsoft Office and. or-
Yeah, 'cause that's what you use,
Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, and Word. Yep.
Yeah, that's what you use. The other thing I'm interested in here is, under administrative assistant, is that, he or she would take and transcribe minutes and notes of an acceptable rate for assigned responsibilities. Does that mean, and I don't think that's what's in here, but does that mean that that person would be the person that would, be at the board meetings or standing committee meetings to take minutes?
Where are you reading that at?
Under ability to. And which brings me also to the bookkeeper, and, under that, there is a place where it says that the bookkeeper would take the minutes of the, board meeting. I would think that that would fall under the administrative assistant.
In the past, we've had the accountant / bookkeeper at the board meetings answering questions regarding financials and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And quite frankly, either one could come to in the absence of the other, could come to the
Okay.
board meetings, do minutes.
So it wouldn't be a requirement, but it could be listed as a potential,
Attend board meetings.
not an essential function, but, ability to sit in and do that work. Yeah. Okay, and that could be a part of both of them?
It could be.
Yeah.
So we could word that a little bit better, but I think,
You kind of cover it when you talk about the need for cross-training between the two jobs.
there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is understood that the bookkeeper and the admin assistant will be cross-trained and assist with other position duties as needed.
Okay, okay.
There we go. That's what I'm
Okay.
looking for.
Other duties, with regard to the bookkeeper, other duties, says here, perform special analytical studies as directed by a director or directors, financial committee, and management. I'm not sure I understand director or directors. I didn't think that any one director could go into their office and say, hey, bookkeeper, I want you to do this. It should be the board that would ask for that.
That is the board, a director of the board.
If the board's recognizing an issue, why couldn't they go in
Well, I
directly?
think that language should be cleared up to say board chairman,
No.
the financial committee, and management. Obviously, you can go to the bookkeeper.
Yeah, typically direction should come from any one director through the manager.
Through the manager, that's right.
Right,
I don't,
that's how.
Yeah, I think, that's micromanaging when one director can walk in and say to the bookkeeper, I want a full, printout of this or that. That's not, it should go to you. But the board can direct the bookkeeper to come up with, a report.
So you're saying that it has to be the full board direct, not a board member?
But what I am saying is, I don't think a board member has the authority to go into the bookkeeper and say, I would like you, bookkeeper, to do a report on this. One
I
board
think,
member.
I think in Dave's capacity, I think I could stay in there, as long as, I think it could stay in there.
What's that now?
Zabadon.
With Dave Zalbadow's capacity, working with us right now, I think that could stay in there.
Well, yeah, but that's through you
Well,
and through the board.
yeah,
the board is
Dave-
authorized
Dave
that.
talks directly to staff, and I think it could stay in there, as long as, I think it could stay in there.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with that. That's micromanaging.
I think if it got to the point of micromanaging, then we could deal with micromanaging.
I would hope so.
As a point of order, are the citizens gonna have a chance to address these issues too tonight?
We're gonna
In
do
just a
that.
minute.
We're gonna do that.
Just wondering, thank you,
Yeah, I'm just asking questions at this point.
thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Another thing that I had a question about was, whether you are proposing, and I'm a little unclear, but whether you're proposing to hire a bookkeeper, or administrative assistants, or both?
Right now, the reason why we proposed both, job descriptions is because the admin assistant job description that the district had on file was from, 20 years ago or more, and things have changed.
Yeah.
And so, some of the duties of the admin assistant got put into the bookkeeper. And so basically, the job duties got separated like they should be. So the proposal is straightening this out, moving forward, and developing a current job description for each position in the office.
Yeah.
Or 2 out of 3 anyway.
Yeah, but as far as,
So,
As far as going
so
forward-
according to my little write-up there, we're looking to staff a bookkeeper
okay,
immediately.
I think that's the most important thing. Has been for a long time.
Could I ask a question? Okay, if we have a bookkeeper, okay, and we don't have another person in that office that's doing the other stuff, the general, okay, administrative assistance, is she going to be doing both jobs? How do we prevent that from happening?
Well,
Good question.
I mean, when you read all the things that they're responsible for, no one person can do all that, and I think that was the problem we had.
Chris was doing that now.
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
yeah, the idea here is to not overwhelm the staff,
Mhm.
and so
that's right.
this is a good.
So it sounds to me like
This is-
you need
with
to
the-
hire 2 people.
With the exception of me, I think this is a good plan to not overwhelm the staff moving forward.
Well, you do have a part-time person now,
Yeah, and that's the clerk,
30 hours, right?
yeah, 32.
Would that be expanded to 40 and take over some of the, light duty things that,
Yeah, we're not really discussing that tonight, what, the clerk is the clerk, and she's doing a good job of doing what she's doing.
okay. So what you're asking us to do is just to look at the language of the two and make a recommendation to the board.
That's correct.
Okay. I don't
And
have any-
I would like to be clarified, what are you recommending to the board?
well,
That we hire,
I'm not
or just
recommending
one?
anything.
You just
I'm
want
right
to-
now listening to what's being said.
Okay.
And I want to hear from the audience too.
Well, I do too, but I'm just clarifying in my mind, if we're asking the board to hire 2 people
No,
to
we
do
just-
these jobs, or just
We only,
one
currently,
bookkeeper?
we only have one job position open.
Okay,
and
that's the bookkeeper.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll open it up for the. Would you state your name,
Yes.
please?
Sure. Good evening.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Hey, Vern. Steve Allen, union representative for the employee bargaining unit, not a citizen of your district. I'm just going cynical, not classic. I just wanted to comment on the one, item that Erwin brought up that I wanted to seize upon, because I think he's correct to say that the employees shouldn't be subject to 5 different board members coming in and giving potentially 5 different directions. The board is not always on the same, any board, city council here, anywhere. It's not always on my union board, for example. I have 14 board members. They're rarely on the same page, which is good. It's healthy for how they work together, right? But staff shouldn't be subject to those different opinions. It should come either a vote of the board. It doesn't require all 5. But if there's a need for a majority vote, or through the manager, I think that's the point Vernon's making. I agree with that. As a representative of the employees, I want to protect the employees from getting jerked around by different interests. If a citizen has something that's important enough for the bookkeeper to delve into, bring it to the board, bring it to the general manager, get the direction back to the bookkeeper. And the other comments you had, I agree with too.
Thank you. You said it better than I did.
Well,
That's my concern.
now there's a procedural thing I just want to talk about, just, if you bear with me just for a moment.
Yeah.
So, most people, because we don't learn this stuff in school, don't understand that in California, the law that covers having an association or a union with an employer or a public agency like this district describes what items are to be negotiated over, and most people don't understand it's not just pay and medical insurance and retirement. It includes things such as job descriptions. So procedurally and technically, changes in job descriptions should be presented to the union for review, comment, back and forth if necessary in an effort to reach an agreement. Recognizing that we have a crisis here with staffing, I've worked quickly with the members to give that input back to Bill. And we already agreed in writing to the draft. And I came tonight because I knew things might move fast. And I'm here to tell you that I will also agree to what else has been talked about tonight, especially if you make the change to clear up where the direction goes to the employees, that one change there, that would be helpful.
Okay.
So, we're ready to, sign off on an updated description also. That doesn't make sense to most people to think, why should the union be involved in job descriptions like that? But it is the law, so.
It's the law.
And we don't want it to drag out, right?
No.
Because you can literally have weeks and months of discussions on this stuff.
Right,
And we don't want that, because we want things to be moving forward. So
that's
thank you.
right. Yeah, thank you very much.
Emily Rankin? I agree with the gentleman just said, but I would like to make this statement. The general manager should not be able to say no to any request that comes from a director. Each individual director that is sitting on this board is liable for what is going on in this district and all the operations. So they should never be denied any information that they're requesting. I understand that they shouldn't just be able to come in, trace through the office, go up to this person, I want this, I want that, blah, blah, blah. It should be through the general manager.
That's right.
But it should not ever be denied a request for any information that they want out of the district.
I can say personally, I always go to the manager and talk about things
No,
and
you bring up
clarify it for
You have a
myself.
good point, and it's
Yeah.
a valid point.
Yes, I do not
But it
go,
all should go through the manager.
I agree with that.
yeah.
Beverly Fickus. So in your policies and procedure books, it exactly says that the directors can't go willy-nilly and talk to an employee, that they have to go through the general manager. It's in one of your policies and procedure handbooks. Under administrative assistant bill, the essential functions, item number 3, I think that was something that Erwin was mentioning. Attend staff and committee meetings, developing and maintaining minutes, following as necessary with proper distribution of information and action. So that was kind of what he was talking about with the minutes. That right there tells me that administrative assistant can be taking minutes at board meetings. It doesn't specifically say board meetings, but that's the other side of it. The other thing is under bookkeeper on page 2, where it's the knowledge of, you've got your administrative assistant typing at 45 words a minute, but you're only asking for the bookkeeper to type at 25 words a minute. And then if you're wanting them to also take minutes, 25 words per minute is too slow. So at least maybe bump it up, I recommend that it be bumped up to the 45 or 70, you know.
Without mistakes.
Yeah.
That's two-finger typing.
That is two-finger typing, it's about 25. 25 is just really a little bit too slow, so I would recommend that you guys up that a little bit. And then knowing me, I found a few other typos, and I'll just give those to you after the meeting.
Anybody else? Okay. All right.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the standards of the book,
Keeper.
yeah, keeper. You know, the last time, we, ran into some real bad problems with the bookkeeper and, financials. So I think there should be some, I mean, we want to make darn sure that the person that gets that job knows what they're doing. And I don't know if there would be schooling or a bachelor's degree or a license or certification. I just see, we're just going back and doing the same things that we've been doing that didn't work. So that's all
If I can comment on that.
Yeah,
Chairman. I agree with what Dennis is saying, because that troubles me. The last bookkeeper we had here, when we hired a bookkeeper, the lady had qualifications to be a bookkeeper. What she didn't know was she didn't know the software system that we had. We sent her for a week back east to learn how to use that system. That was a cost to us to do that, but my Lord, you need to have somebody that knows how to run that system. And, you know, if we get to a situation where we hire a new bookkeeper, we're not guaranteed that that person's gonna know how to run that system. Does anybody else know how to run that system? I rather doubt it.
It's pretty complicated, it's not user-friendly whatsoever.
You what?
It's not user-friendly whatsoever.
No, it's not. You know, it's not something that you can just pick up, you know, yeah, helter-skelter, so to speak. So, we're gonna have to, if we get somebody that's a good bookkeeper, that has those qualifications, we still need to have her or him, be able to run that system.
Right.
And like I said, the last time, we sent the bookkeeper, the previous bookkeeper, back east, I believe it
Right.
was, to learn how to run that system. It was a cost to the district, but it had to be done.
What is the name of the system?
It's, Fry software, but the accounting is called Bucks.
Called what?
Bucks, B-U-C-S, or C-S.
B-U-C-S.
B-U-C-S,
Yep.
Bucks?
Mhm.
B-U-C-S.
Yeah, anyway, that's
Let me write that down.
a dilemma.
2 cents to that one?
I'll talk to my son.
Can I add my 2 cents to that one?
Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah,
I've used a lot of different software systems.
Yeah.
Over the years, and everybody learns in different ways. But there's one thing for sure, you need to be able to download a user manual either online. What I like doing is I like having a hard copy. And usually there's a cheat sheet. And if a company that produces software doesn't have a cheat sheet, simple cheat sheet, not all the details, but the layouts. So an average person who pushes buttons, most people push buttons, that's how you do it. And then maybe somebody can help you, or what you can do is, since you want the job, you can maybe do a little bit of homework at night. It's not that complex, but there's gotta be a manual. A lot of these software companies, they're thinking that you don't need a manual, and I don't care where it is I've ever gone. There's a short version, and watch you're on your own. My comment about the typing is that the smart thing, it used to be over, with typing, you would go in and upgrade your typing skills. They've got real simple typing tests. So if you wanted to test someone, I don't know if the Smart Center has, let's say, you know, a test. You give somebody a test, you know, if they're at 25 minutes per, 25 words per minute. If they practice a little, they can probably get themselves up to 40. Can't be too far. Thank you.
I'm Sally Glenn, and I did housing in the office, and I have taken it upon myself to start writing a procedures manual for how we get through, basically right now, accounts receivable and accounts payable. So from Kristen's notes and, Janae's notes and, because it's all in their head, you know, to convey it to somebody else, and reading those notes, you know, is a little enduring. So I was gonna lay out a procedures manual and then have Kristen go over it with me and edit it, because she said it has changed some. That was what I thought, was we needed a procedures manual for every job description, every job, actually, you know, is a procedures manual. So somebody can walk in and not have to bother the next person very much. They can open the manual and say, okay, this is it, right here, this is what I do. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing.
Okay,
I'd like to see that when you get it done.
yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah.
Okay, any more comments? Okay. Let's see. We're down to C. Develop a recommendation to the board of directors.
Well, I recommend, and
We get a bookkeeper.
I recommend that we get a bookkeeper. I recommend that we, with the slight changes we've made to this, recommend to the full board to adopt the new language for administrative assistant and bookkeeper, is what Bill was asking for, right, Bill?
Correct.
Yeah. And the only other recommendation I had was because we had so many, 6 applications from people for the general manager job, to write to them and let them know that,
I think
we're gonna
that would be
extend this
very
for this.
courteous.
and accept Bill's, suggestion
Right.
of him staying on as interim general manager for the 6-month period. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I just can't help feel though. I would love to see. Okay, we have a girl part-time. What exactly is her job? Bill?
She's the office clerk, is her job title.
Oh, okay, so she basically, okay. I wish we could get both of them in there. I think it would be easier for everybody if we could afford it and figure out a way to have an administrator and a bookkeeper.
Yeah, so the recommendation to the board is we're going to move forward with leaving me in the position I'm at, or in hiring a bookkeeper.
Right,
Correct.
right. But
Yeah, it sounds like
I want the board to think about how we can, she knows, make it easier.
don't we currently have an administrative assistant?
We do, we do.
So any recommendation on the words permitted for that bookkeeper and her typing ability?
Well, I just see that for some reason, one of them, so these are templates that we had. I didn't adjust that, I don't know why, one of them's 25 and one's 50, I just saw that, so, yeah, it could be 25 to 50.
So the typing, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, 20, make it 50.
I tell you what, if somebody that knew accounting could only type 25 words a minute, they knew accounting, certainly wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
Because I could type over 25 words a minute.
Say that,
So is that it?
that's it,
I think that's it.
we're done.
Just for clarity, we
Yes.
missed what the changes are.
Oh, the changes were, that the bookkeeper, and the administrative assistant, the one, could be called upon to take minutes at the board meetings. It was unsure of that.
Well, I think we identified that the language allows that to happen now, so do you really need to change the wording, or are we okay?
I guess
We're okay.
I guess we're okay, yeah, as long as everybody understands that.
Yes.
One clarification, as the interim manager, does Bill have the authority to hire staff that he needs, or does he have to wait for the board to approve it? Because you're talking at least another 3 weeks.
Yep.
Before the board, you know, if he's truly the manager, he should be able to properly staff as things arise. We know that a number of people are overworked in the office right now.
Right.
Okay, that's very evident. Anybody who volunteers down here will definitely agree. My concern is what if one of these key personnel, and Janae had to stay home for a week or so, COVID, okay? What's gonna happen if Kristen can't come home, can't come to work for a week or two?
Right.
What do you think is gonna happen to the office? I think we need to be proactive and give him the authority to go out and find the individuals needed now.
I agree with you.
It's my understanding, has always been my understanding, that the general manager has the authority to hire.
Okay, so you're approving his basic job descriptions, and are you, as the finance or personnel committee, saying, go ahead and staff the office?
We weren't asked that question.
Can we ask that? I mean, you've already said he should have the authority.
He's got the
You can ask the
authority.
question.
Yep.
But like I said, in my mind, it's always been that the general manager
Right.
has the authority to hire.
But did the board discuss that as a whole?
What, the hire and fire part? No.
Yeah, because of our financials, I
That's the
thought.
only reason we're not fully staffed, is because of the financial situation.
Right, and I thought the whole board agreed that they were holding off on things because of that. So that would be my only reason to say why you shouldn't, although I agree that you need to, I'm not.
I don't remember the board voting
If
for that.
he needs to staff the place because somebody quits, what are you gonna do? Just sit there and do nothing? No, you gotta move.
Yeah, we can't wait 3 weeks.
Does that need to go before the full board? That would be the question.
Well, this is going first.
Oh, goodness.
And I disagree with that.
Please help us in line.
This is gonna get out of hand here pretty soon.
I have a suggestion.
I think we already made the recommendation.
For clarity.
But I agree with you.
I'd like
He
to give
should
a
be
seat
able
as
to
a
go
staff.
out and get
I'd like to give a
a
seat.
book.
Clearly, it would be, it's needed to hire people right away.
Right.
I get that. But what you have right now are the current job descriptions and the current rate of pay. If you want your general manager to exercise his authority to hire new people under the new job description with the new rate of pay, the full board's gotta approve it.
That's right.
That's right.
Because the committee
Right.
doesn't have that authority to
Yeah.
agree to those changes. It's a recommendation to the full board, right?
Right.
Right.
So unfortunately, unless you call a special meeting for the full board to approve it, I think you gotta wait until the regular meeting.
There you go.
I think you.
That's the legal
To hire
thing.
somebody, yes,
That's what I
but
was gonna say, like, just a
we could
second.
advertise, no, because we don't have approved job, approved job description.
Government is slow sometimes. It's just
Very.
the way it is.
Could we have a special full board so that you can get and have this passed?
Otherwise, the other board members would have a legitimate complaint. You know, you guys approved something and we didn't approve it.
No, you're right.
Yep.
So, but this goes to this will go to the full board. Yeah.
But we
Okay.
can't wait 2 more weeks. No, 3, because we just had 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we just made the recommendations, and that was all we were called upon to do.
Can you call a special board meeting?
We can.
We can, we're done.
Why?
Here's the
Can't we
closing.
call this special